Well, hello. Today is Saturday, March 3rd, and it's time to do our freestyle meeting, which was about stress, overcoming stress. Oh, trust me, I could have used this in the last week or so. I've had a lot of stress, and I did turn to food, which is the old Sandy, and I don't know why I did. Yeah, I do. It was the old Sandy making an appearance. I don't know why I welcomed her in, but I did. I welcomed her with open arms, and I let her take over my life for a day or two, and then I realized that she wasn't doing me any favors, and so I showed her the door. But I did turn it around in time to have a loss of 1.8, which brings my total loss to 64.1, and I'm down to 240.1, and look, I got a star. And for the last 4 weeks, I've lost 2.9 pounds, so that was good. A little less than a pound a week, but like I've told you in the past, the slower I go, the better it is for me. And just bummed. It was just 0.2 away from, you know, like when I had the 0.2 gain and it just annoyed me, that 0.2 is coming back to haunt me because that 0.2 would have put me into the 30s. And not that it's a big deal, but it would have been 39.9, but it would have had a 3 in front of the, instead of a 4. But you know what? Next week, I really tried, and if I wouldn't have had those couple of days of stress, I probably would have hit it. But you know, that was last week. It's a new day. I'm moving on. I went to visit my sister-in-law in the nursing home today, but I had a snack of some almonds after the meeting because I knew that it was going to be a while before I ate, and I had some water, and it felt good. So I still have to eat, but I'll get to that. But anyway, the book is about overcoming stress, and stress is natural. It's your body's automatic response to perceived pressure or a threat. It can hit you all at once, like on a day of a big work presentation, or build up over time due to illness, relationship tensions, or even a lack of time for yourself. I try to give myself some time each day, but I've really been concentrating on this other issue, and it kind of threw me off track. Trying to fit everything into my day stresses me out. Between commuting, working 2 jobs, exercise, and family time, it can be challenging to get it all in and meet everyone's and mine expectations. They brought that up at the meeting, and our quote for the meeting was, "Be sure to put your oxygen mask on first before trying to assist others." And that's so true. When you're flying on a plane, especially parents, they always tell the parents to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can help your children. It only stands to reason that if you're not there to help them, who's going to help them? I mean, that's your point. And if that's what you want in your life is to assist other people, you have to take care of yourself. If you're not healthy and you're somebody's dependent on you for their care, you're doing both of your disservice, the person that you're caring for and especially yourself. Sometimes stress can motivate you. Like when you're pulled together the details of a surprise birthday party for your spouse, but often it works against you. And for the most part, I find that stress works against you more often than not. And stress can show up in many forms like pain, difficulty sleeping, stomach or headaches. It dings your emotional health too, because you might have difficulty which I'm having speaking, difficulty concentrating, or you're going to just feel irritable or tired or always worried. I do find that emotional stress to me is more tiring than physical stress, because I can like really work and I can know that that's why I'm tired, because I worked so hard during the day, you know, whether it was, you know, like deep cleaning my house, or even if I've gone for a longer walk than I normally do, I get tired. But it doesn't compare to an emotional tiredness, because that just drains your every bit of your being. It just really does. And a lot of times you can just feel it. It's just like comes up in your backs, it's in your shoulders and your neck. You can just feel it. I can feel it now as I'm talking about it. It's just like, ugh. But frazzled folks are more likely, I know this is going to be a shocker. Brace yourself, because you're not going to believe this statement. It's going to be like something you've never heard in your life. Frazzled folks tend to overeat more often, eat more unhealthy foods, and gain weight. Common sense, right? Common sense. We know that. But, you know, just because you know something doesn't mean that you're going to do it. I know everybody always says, do as I say, not as I do. And that's so true with the stress. You know, like you can tell somebody, you know, that bag of popcorn's not going to help you feel any better. But until you eat that bag of popcorn and then you realize, you know what, I don't feel any better. Sometimes you just got to learn things for yourself. And they talked to this one member, Alexis, on how she copes with it. And she said before Weight Watchers, she would soothe herself with food or a big glass of wine. And then she'd have a bigger portion. And afterwards, she'd feel embarrassed. And she'd feel more stressed because she, was a failure in her eyes. And you just have to remember, there's always going to be a good day and there's always going to be a bad day. If this was an easy journey, we'd have thin people wherever you looked. But it's not an easy journey. And everybody's going to have setbacks. I have setbacks. I've had some gains. And, I beat myself up about it. But I pride myself on the fact that I get right back to it. The Sandy of the past wouldn't have got back to it. She would have just gave up. She would have thought, I'm a failure, and I would have gave up. And I'm not that person anymore. I'm just not. I know I'm going to have some gains. I've been very fortunate that my gains haven't really been, they've been less than 3 pounds, which is still a big gain. I'm not saying that wasn't a big gain. That's still a big gain. But in the past, that 3 pounds would have led me to 10, then 15, then 20. I don't let it do that anymore. So the Think Again page is an unhelpful thought is, fighting with my brother really stressed me out. I need some ice cream to calm down. I can relate to that this week, but it wasn't my brother. An helpful thought is, yes, that fight was stressful. Ice cream might make me feel better for a few minutes, but in the long run, unplanned eating will make me feel worse. I'll skip the ice cream and turn on some music to get my mind on something else. The other day I wanted to eat. I just wanted to eat. I was having a stressed day. And lucky for me, I do YouTube videos because instead I got the video, I got my camera out or my phone, and I told you guys how I was feeling. And it got me through it because by the time I was done doing the video, my mind was off of that. And I thought, no, I don't need that. I really don't. And I didn't have it, which was a good thing for me that day. Check in the good column. An unhelpful thought is, I need to get a perfect score on this exam. Anything else means I'm a failure. And the helpful thought, it's not failing if I get a couple of questions wrong. That's just being human. What is important is that I do the best that I can. And that's how I feel about this weight loss. It's not perfect. I know it's not perfect. I don't eat the right amount of foods. I eat the same amount of foods all the time. I have my old standbys that I always go to. But it works for me so far. So as long as it's working, like Mama says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I do believe that. But I have to know that if I do make a mistake, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I made a mistake. I owned it. I recognized it. And I'm moving on. That's just a way of life. Everybody makes mistakes. A lot of times, which I'm famous for doing this, is the one time I couldn't figure out why I had so much money. I thought, how do I have so much money in my checking account? And I was writing checks left and right. I thought, I'm really rich. I didn't realize I had so much money in my checking account. Well, the reason I had so much money in my checking account was because instead of subtracting each check, I was adding it. So obviously, if I was supposed to take $20 out and I said $20 added, I didn't have $20 more, I had $20 less. And I paid for that in the long run, let me tell you. Luckily, I had an overdraft, an account to cover that. But I kept thinking, why am I getting all these overdraft things? Until I went and got the adding machine out and started adding it up and figured, oh, no wonder. And then I found my mistake and I went, duh. How could you have made such a stupid mistake? But I did. But you know what? It wasn't the end of the world. I paid all that money back. I got all back on track. And then now I've learned from that mistake, and I double check because I subtract it and then I add it to make sure it comes out to the same thing like I learned in grade school. So I learned from my mistake. And the same with food. I'm learning from my mistakes. I learn when I go crazy at McDonald's or Taco Bell or Burger King. You got to get right back at it. That was a mistake. Learn from it. Move on. That's what I do. Now this is a soup I might try. It's a chicken and orzo soup with fennel. I've never had fennel. But it does look good, doesn't it? You want to screenshot it? It does look really good. The only problem with me is Jim is not a soup eater. And I make the soup and I freeze the soup. But I have so much soup in my freezer. I should take one out now I'm thinking about it. Oh, the other day I took out, I thought, a chili. And I took a bite of it and I thought, oh, this tastes bad. And I thought, no, it hasn't been in there that long. It shouldn't be so bad. I took another bite and I thought, oh, I can't eat this. I can't eat this. And then as I was like moving it around with the spoon, I saw some mushrooms in it. And then I thought, oh, this is Jim's chili. I do not like venison. I don't like any kind of gamey meat. I don't like venison. I don't like boar. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like any of it. And Jim had made his own chili with venison, and that's what I was eating. I thought I was going to die. Obviously I didn't die, and obviously I wouldn't die, but it was awful. It was awful. But that's our book is stress, so let's see what we talked about in the meeting. Oh, Jim is home. Speaking of Jim, what you want to do is overcome your stress, because stress can motivate you, but long-term stress can affect your health and your actions. And we talked about that. You just don't, I think my father was ill, but I think that he had so much stress with his work. I think that kind of contributed to his death quicker than, sooner than later. I mean, what he had was he was going to die from anyhow, but I think he had so much stress it kind of made it come quicker. And stress releases cortisol, which raises your blood pressure, your blood sugar, and it suppresses your immune system. So that's why if you're really stressed and you're not feeling well, you get sicker quicker and you don't heal as fast. And obviously we all know that stress can lead us to overeat unhealthy foods and gain weight. That's a no-brainer. Everybody knows that. But the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. If you're having a bad thought about eating or something because you're stressed, try to think why you want to eat. Is it because you're really hungry, or is it just because you think that cookie or that ice cream is going to soothe you? Because it's not. It really is not. And you have to remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Obviously, if you have nothing in your glass, you can't share that with anybody. So you want to take time to take care of yourself. Listen to your body. Your body talks to you. You just got to listen to it. If you over-exercise, your muscle's going to say, hey, back up, back the bus up, because that hurt. And it's just a way of, telling you what's going on. So you need to listen to your body. And of all the things that you can buy with your money, you can buy so many things with your money. The one thing you can't buy, it doesn't matter if you're the richest man in the world, you can't buy your health. You can pay for better care for your health. You can pay for better treatments for your health. But you have to take care of your health yourself. You have to eat properly. You have to avoid the stress in your life. You have to exercise. And you just have to take care of yourself. And no amount of money is going to do that. I understand that if you have a lot of money, that'll relieve a lot of stress, because obviously if you have money and you have bills, the stress is not as bad because you can pay your bills. But it's not a catch-all to solve all. Although I'd like to think it is, but it's not. But the good news is if we eliminate stressful situations, we can change how it affects us. And how it affects us is like we're able to think about the situation and know why we're thinking like we're thinking. And you want to take sure that you take care of your own needs before you take care of other people's needs, because self-care is so important. And you want to be there for other people, and you're not going to be there for other people if you're not feeling well either. So as long as you're taking care of yourself, you can take care of other people too. So you want to give yourself what you need for success. And some of the things you can do to cope with success is just to move more. Do something that you enjoy. Keep a journal. I keep a journal. Do something relaxing, whether it's go to a yoga class, go for a walk, play with your pets. Just play with your kids or your grandkids, just anything. Remove yourself from the situation. If you can see that this is heading in the wrong direction, get out of there. Do something else. Have a distraction. And then try to create a realistic schedule, because if you have a realistic schedule, you'll avoid all the stress in your life. You can only do so much in a day. There's only 24 hours in the day, although I hate the phrase 24/7. The only thing you do for 24/7 is breathe, as far as I'm concerned. But, you have a very busy day, because you think most people only sleep maybe 8 hours. You still have 16 hours in the day that you have to work with, and you want to do it without a lot of stress. So I hope that video helped you. If you think somebody might like it, please share it. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do a daily vlog, and then I do the meeting highlights once a week. And leave a comment. I like your comments. I do like to answer your comments. I feel like we're talking to each other. So I will see you either on my daily vlog, or I'll see you here next week.